let me go change, put on a casual shirt.
Are you kidding me?
You know?
No, then
I knew you like classy suits, so
yeah, we couldn't take you serious.
I was gonna go upgrade the suit game.
Yeah, if you could have had like a Bernie Mac, that would have been nice. Just like a little 3-piece.
Oh my gosh!
I need you. You ever seen? I seen that guy on TikTok. He's like called the Atlanta Lawyer. I don't know if you've seen him or something, but he, drives nothing but Rolls Royces, and he has these like every suit is custom gator skin boots.
Goodness,
this black guy, and you're like, hey, he's got to be successful at what he does. Look, he's getting a new car every week.
Wow,
he's the Atlanta Lawyer.
Yep,
but he's like an OG
man.
So there's half of me that's like, oh, do I trust him if I go to court?
Exactly.
But then at the same time, it's like, well, how's he affording all that? He has to be winning.
How can you not?
Exactly. He's got to be winning his cases.
Exactly. Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah.
So good.
Are we recording, Andy? We're recording.
All
He's
right.
doing other stuff too. Look at him. He's catching two birds with one stone. He's got another camera in hand doing behind the scenes shots.
Beautiful.
That's what it is. Well, everybody, welcome to Beyond the Letter. We got a fun episode for you today. Last minute, you didn't catch us. I was coming in today, and I was like, man, what are we gonna have a conversation with? I was just telling Lester, I heard great stuff from a lot of people about our episode a couple ago, which was all about, hey, how do you have good frameworks in the new year, disciplines?
Yep.
Heard it from all ages that they enjoyed that conversation.
Beautiful.
What's in the same framework of disciplines other than financial services?
Wow.
That's what I got my friend, maybe on Beyond I Do, you've heard from him and his wife, Lester and Kirsten Barron.
Yep.
I asked Lester to come through. He's a UCLA graduate. Just a gun. What was your major in UCLA?
Oh, psychobiology and gerontology.
What?
Yeah.
What is gerontology?
It's the study of the aging process. So like geriatrics.
No way.
Yes. So I was actually studying to become what's called a rheumatologist at UCLA, and then my path changed.
And rheumatology would work with
gerontology.
Elderly people.
Exactly. Yes.
And what specific field of aging?
So for me, the passion at that time was my grandma had rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh.
And I wanted to be in the research field, work to find a cure. And so my path in coming to California for school was to go to med school.
So you were going to be a scientist?
Yes. My undergrad studies in science.
I've known you for well over a decade.
Yep.
Well over.
Yep.
And we've had conversations about everything.
Yep.
Except for
What'd you study in school?
I just figured it was like finance.
Right, yeah.
It seemed like a no-brainer connection because that's what you do now and you're so good at it.
Yep. Thank you.
So you're going to be a scientist.
Yeah.
And then I know, like, kind of financial services kind of fell in your lap.
Yes.
But your formal, like, UCLA education wasn't in that.
No. And the way it evolved was my dad passed away when I was 20, studying at UCLA in undergrad. And he was 50 at the time, so he passed away really young.
Yeah.
So I withdrew from my classes, took the next flight down to the Caribbean. And when I got there, I had 3 life-changing conversations. The first was with the funeral home, then the hospital, and then the banks. And the banks called me and gave me an ultimatum. And they literally said to me, you either pay us $100,000 cash like right now, on the spot, or...
For your father's debts.
Yeah, for my father's debts. Or we have to sell everything your parents built in the last 20 years to pay off those debts. And I could not come up with the money. I was what's called a ninja at the time. It's a new term called no income, no job, no assets. Ninja, right? Yeah. So I was flat broke. And I could not come up with the money to pay off those debts. And the banks took away everything from my mom, my family. And that's what sparked the zeal inside of me, the purpose, like the passion for what I do. And matter of fact, in that same time frame, I went to visit the medical school, which I'd gotten accepted to already, full scholarship. And nothing was inside of me saying to continue down that path. Everything said, no, this is not it. And now I knew it was the Lord telling me, I want a different direction for your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, why that is the first I've ever. I got to be a better question asker when we go to dinner because I guess you make assumptions of. We talked about so much stuff. Dogs.
Yeah. Yes.
We talked about dogs.
All kinds of stuff. Animals, agriculture.
Yeah. Hunting.
fishing, fun.
But the literal genesis of your desire for financial
Yep.
education and financial literacy, it was personal.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I, inside of me, what the Lord birthed was, just seeing many people with a similar story to me. The first one he exposed me to was my boss at the city at the time. When I came back from that tragedy, finished UCLA, then worked for the city of LA. I didn't go to the medical school path anymore. And while I was there, my boss lost her dad as well. And she was going through some of the same things. Like, nobody knows what to do.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it's very tough to find the information, which we'll discover tonight.
For sure. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and to agree, I'm a pastor, but I'm a pastor of a large church, and we facilitate, and no exaggeration, and I know you know this, Lester, 2 to 3 funerals a week at our church, which for a church hosting funerals, that's a lot. We're not a funeral home.
Right.
So 2 to 3 members in our church, that gives an idea of how large the church is.
Yeah.
And more times than not, as a church, especially for those that are members, we come in and how can we help you? Where can we help you? We negotiate contracts with funeral homes just to be able to help people with discounts, and the amount of people that either are fighting over family assets, which are most of the time unprotected.
Yep.
A lot of times.
Yes.
We hear it all the time.
Yep.
Someone's got a letter from the family member that died that they try to make legally binding, or a text message, or a phone call. I've heard everything, right?
Yeah. Oh, I have stories.
People come up to me on Sunday, pray for me. Why? Because my aunt is trying to take my dad's home, we're got court, and the amount it's going to cost to go to court is going to supersede the inheritance. So do I just give it to my aunt? Because, it's just you're like, oh my goodness, how many people don't plan for death, but also plan for legacy?
Yep.
And even how heartbreaking that is, that you see it. You see these family, I do funerals a lot and go to them a lot. It's like someone will die, and then there'll be a slideshow of all these memories, right?
Yep.
This person in Dubai on vacation, them in front of their classic car.
Yes.
You could see in the picture, they got, a couple nice gold bracelets on, name brand glasses that aren't cheap. And then the family is scrounging to pay for the casket.
Yes.
They do a family pot just to be able to help take care of the spouse that's still alive, to just make it. And you're just like, wow, I'm happy you lived, but now other people are going to struggle to live. To help take care of this season of life that, for most people, came unexpected. We all think we're going to live forever. And it's heartbreaking.
Yes.
And I know for me, I got insurance plans and all me in my 20s.
Yes. Yes.
And you helped me with that.
Yeah.
Because as a pastor just doing funerals, I was like, I feel like in my 20s I'm going to live forever.
Yeah.
But what happens if I'm 31?
Yeah.
I'm not 31 now, but at the time I'm thinking in my 20s, what happens if I'm 31? And I pass away, and I got 2 little sons, my wife, and I just leave her with this mortgage and these car payments. And what am I doing? And I remember back then I called you and hey, let's do this. Let's see. We created a game plan that now, as I've gotten even older, has even now blossomed into retirement and stocks and all these things like that, which I know we're talking all about that.
This is awesome.
I'm sure we're going to hit that stuff, but just giving a synopsis of where you're at, but also validating on a pastoral side. You see it every day with kind of everyone. But I see those people on their darkest day.
Exactly.
The day they come from after the hospital. And they go, well, now what? And I'm not a financial services expert, but I'm a pastor. And as we walk people through that grief and pain, money is a lot of times that dangling carrot. Finance is that dangling carrot of pain.
Yes.
Either too much finances that the family fight over, or not enough that the family has to downgrade. Look, I got my dog here just going, Rooster, go to bed, dude.
Right?
Go to bed, dude. What are you doing?
He was like, I love this guy.
He's like, this is my guy. I know,
I love
Lester.
this guy.
Yeah. He's like, this is my guy.
Well, I'll tell you, typically speaking, generally speaking, the first 2 calls that I ever made from someone, from a family of a loved one who passes away, number one is usually the hospital or the medical doctor.
Okay.
The second call is us,
Wow.
right? Because everybody goes, okay, how are we going to deal with this?
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of layers to that. There's so much I want to unpack with you about this, because what families don't realize is that this, like finances, it's one of the biggest disciplines that's important to master, right? Especially coming into New Year's and making resolutions. I want to be better with finances. I want to
Pay down my debt.
I want to buy a home, pay off my car.
Yeah.
They have goals to start saving money for their kids' college. Or, hey, I want to retire in the next 24 months or 36 months. Those months go by fast. When you put your years into months, your life into years, then years into months, it goes like really fast. And so what I tell people is there's no secret to success in finances. There's a system to success. And the thing that is the base of that is that you've got to set up programs, automated programs to help you force yourself to abide by a system.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, your dad is very great, and you are very great at talking about the 80-10-10 rule, right? 10% for tithing, 10% for savings, and you live on 80% if you're an employee. If you are an entrepreneur, it's the 10-10-10-70 rule, which is 10% for tithing, 10% for savings, 10% for taxes. And then you live on the other 70, right?
I'm going to pause you real quick because I have a true story of a good friend who now has, he had to learn a lesson a hard way.
Yeah.
Which was, he was a business owner.
Yeah.
And speaking of taxes and tracking your payments and stuff like that, and it's a true story, and he wouldn't care that I was telling it, but he owned multiple businesses and he had contracted employees. You know, like they basically he was a barber, and the contract employees were the barbers. He owned barbershops.
Yeah.
And there was an employee who was young. He was like 18 or 19-year-old, lived with his mom.
Wow.
And he would get these checks for his payment. And he didn't realize, like, this kid thought it was money. He didn't realize the checks were connected to a bank account and it was only withdrawn when he went and turned the check in. He thought by itself it was money.
Yeah.
And so he worked there for like almost 2.5 years. Now, my friend, he probably had 50 barbers on payroll that he said. So he was never tracking that young kid wasn't turning his checks in to get paid.
Yeah.
So basically one day he wants to buy a car cash because he lived with his mom. His car he wanted was a nice car, like $80,000 car. He lives with his mom. His mom don't care. And he takes like 40 of his checks.
Wow.
And cashes them all in one day. And my friend didn't have the savings in his business to withstand that hit.
Yeah.
And this kid basically zeroes out the account.
Oh, wow.
Where now my friend has to negotiate with this 19-year-old to say, hey, how many more of these checks do you have? And he's like, I have like 40 more.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's like, he basically sells the kid one of the barbershops as a deal to broker to zero out those checks. And now that kid's thriving with that barbershop. My friend's doing exorbitantly well in a whole new field.
Yeah.
But to me, that always was a learning lesson of like, just, you talked about entrepreneur, but just that financial literacy that it takes to have dreams.
Yes.
Especially as an entrepreneur of things that an average person doesn't think through. Like you're saying, like, did you save for your taxes
exactly
when Uncle Sam comes knocking?
Yep.
Do you have a payment processing system that acts as an HR that makes sure that checks are being, now we got direct deposit, but still it's like, are you able to track these things? Because what happens on a rainy day?
Yes.
Can you survive it?
Yep.
Or can you not?
Right. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Because it all matters.
Yeah.
And to bring up to continue your point there are what's called 7 money milestones that if you want to get into financial independence in your life, you must check off those 7 boxes. But the first one is financial education. And that is what will separate anyone from everybody else. Because most companies that you see out there in the US, they will offer some form of plan. But the one thing that's missing from the main plan is financial education. And so that kid and that owner of the shop, they were missing financial education.
Yeah.
Right? In both ways. Different perspectives. Exactly. Right? And so, by the way, there are a lot of complimentary resources. You know us. We don't sell books.
Yeah.
All of them are free. We have one called Change Your Literacy, Change Your Life. It's a complimentary book. that we'll give to everybody. We'll
Yeah.
give you the QR for the podcast. There's one called How Money Works for Men, How Money Works for Women, and How Money Works for the Next Generation.
Wow.
And they're all complimentary from us.
Yeah, that's great.
Literally.
Yeah.
So every generation, no matter where you are in your financial journey,
Yeah.
whether you are single, you're engaged, married, divorced, widowed, whatever,
Yeah.
retiring, whatever it is, there's a place for everyone to be able to identify where they fit in that spectrum and apply something.
Yeah, that's great.
So financial education is the focus for us,
Yeah.
and that's what we're passionate about, and that's what people are missing.
Well, it's true. Yeah, and that's what tends to get, that's what gets a lot of people not really in trouble, but
Yeah.
it can get them in trouble. But really, people lacking goals,
Yeah.
and dreams. And I know, like for me, over my life, I've had an opportunity to speaking to a lot of specifically guys' life
Yeah.
that didn't have active fathers,
Yeah.
Or homes that they had active fathers. But whether it be through the stream of the minority community that they were raised or in general, their father had never been exposed to any legacy or any financial independence. And so many times it's, I've walked a lot of young guys like, how do you get your first car? How do you get your first apartment? But then goes deeper and talk to them about, well, how much money do you have saved right
Yeah,
now? Well, I don't
absolutely.
have any. Well, I've seen you go to Chipotle every day, this
Yes,
week.
yes.
And you say, oh, every time I get to the end of the month, I have no money.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'll tell you where your money's at.
Yep.
You're at Chipotle every day,
Yeah.
or it's, I love the greatest excuse. Oh, it's more expensive nowadays to get groceries than it is to go out
Oh, wow.
to eat. And it's like, well, what groceries are you getting?
yeah, I'm with
and what
you.
type of meal are you trying to provide yourself? You're right.
Yeah.
If you go to the grocery store and you're just getting one steak out of a time, whatever, it's going to be a lot.
Yes.
And you're getting the new ingredients every time because you're letting them die. But, Costco exists
yeah.
and much more mundane meals
Absolutely.
exist. But so it's like we excuse our financial illiteracy, we excuse our excess
Yep.
in the sense of, well, I've already told myself it's cheaper this way, it's easier this way.
Yeah.
And we know it's not true.
It's not. No, not at all.
And then you look at kind of this new generation, which I'd be interested in what you say. Like, it seems like specifically with Gen Z, there's been an incredible passion around stocks and crypto. And I
Yep.
think during COVID, it really boomed. And,
Yeah.
and you're seeing the next generation get really excited
Yep.
around those investments. I mean, I think their goal is around, maybe get rich schemes, but
Yeah.
it's much more, like at 16, I didn't know what a stock
Right,
was. I
yeah.
didn't know what those things were, but 16-year-old nowadays, they have a pretty good understanding of the
Absolutely.
stock market and especially of cryptocurrency.
Yep.
Like, what's your view about this next generation? Like, do you feel that, like, okay, they're in a healthy, like they have a good, like, head start, or is I just feel like it's a little probably put in the wrong space?
Yeah, great question. There's some of the younger generation that I see that have a really good grasp on wanting to be financially more solid than their parents were. And there are a lot of vehicles and avenues that are being advertised as, hey, use us, we're the best.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cloud around that, right? Because, what does that actually mean? Like, I'm the best. We're the best at stocks, crypto, ETFs, mutual funds. What are we the best at, right? So what I say to people, and I'll answer your question, is, number one, set up a system for short-term savings automatically being deducted from your paychecks. Okay, and there are apps that can do that, right? Many apps. But you want to find a free app with a high-yield savings account.
Okay.
So for the next generation, that's what I'd say to start with, because the more emergency fund someone can build, whether it's the next generation or us, or even our parents, more mature, right? If somebody can build up an emergency fund, that will save them a lot of trouble from credit cards. Once you have a decent emergency fund, then you can start diving into what I call play money. Right? Because then you can play with crypto, you can play with stocks, you can play with ETFs, and whatever else is out there that you want to have fun with. Have fun money, but your serious money, you got to put in a high yield savings so that when an emergency hits, it's there. You don't dip back into credit card debt. And that's the reason why we find so many youngsters.
What would be an example of percentage of a high yield savings?
Right now, about 3.5%
Okay.
or more.
Yeah.
Right? So where it's not making 0.0 nothing in a savings account. But
so 1%, 2%, not great.
no
you
way.
want, higher than
3.5 or higher.
Okay.
Yes. And that's fully liquid money, and there should be no fee on that account. Right?
Should you need it and pull from it? Is
Absolutely.
that what you mean?
Yeah. Or
to put
or any
into
monthly
it.
fee.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
monthly fees.
Yeah.
There are companies that have no monthly fees, and you want to use those. Right?
Okay.
So that having an emergency fund is the number one thing that will save you financially from a lot of challenges down the road.
Okay.
Because anytime somebody has a credit card, the most of the time I should say people have credit cards, is because they don't have the money to spend the cash.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Or if you have an emergency, you don't want to put it on a credit card because that interest starts killing you. It adds up. Right now we're seeing rates of average of 30% plus for credit cards. Imagine paying 30% in interest to a bank. And by the way, that's called the rule of 72.
Yeah.
Right? And you're making 0.0 nothing on your savings, but you're paying 30%. That's a losing equation.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So having a nice emergency fund, next generation, that's where I'd say to start. Then have your fund money. So whatever, that number is different for everyone. For some people, that money, that's $500 emergency because they live at home.
Yeah.
That could be $1,000 because they're in college. It could be $5,000 because, they're a little bit more, savvy.
Yeah.
Or it could be 10 grand or more, whatever that number is. Just put $10 whenever you have it. I tell people just start with $10.
Yeah.
And then just grow that thing as much as you can. And one day you're going to look up and you're going to be surprised of where you are.
Tell me your thoughts on this. This is gonna be some kind of rabbit trail, but I recently started doing it. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you do. I'm gonna explain to
Tell
it.
me.
But there's apps. Okay, so I'm not sponsored by anyone, so I'm not gonna promote anyone's application. And also, I don't want to be responsible for anyone making bad decisions. But I have retirement accounts. I have all that stuff. I got Charles Schwab accounts. I got my who's my Nationwide.
Yeah.
I got my life insurance. Everything like that. So. There's been apps that created where you can connect your stock account to this third party, and you can select politicians that are in Congress. And every time they make stock purchases, it'll up to a degree that you set the amount, it'll auto purchase whatever, say, Nancy Pelosi buys.
I knew where you were going.
and because they obviously have to share that publicly, and so at where their level of government work is. Yeah. And so you can so what I started doing is I started following politicians' trades. Yep. And I turned on auto buy and sell through these apps. Yeah. And they're buying and selling when politicians buy and sell. But you can also, with famous famous stockbrokers, you can actually subscribe to them monthly, and they will, through these apps, they will share what they are personally purchasing and selling that month or at any given time. And you can also put, and it'll percentage it. So you put $100 in it. You say Nancy Pelosi buys 12 things this month. Depending on the amount she may bought this much percentage this month. So it'll put like 60% on Google, 10% on Exxon, blah 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 blah, and then it'll disperse it, and then it just sits and like. Have you heard of this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the most popular and most controversial topics of the day. And I'll tell you,
not for me to do it, but for the politicians doing it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's controversial is that they seem to be pretty spot on with their buys and sells. Yes. And they happen to also be in congressional meetings where they know what government contracts are being. I don't condone it at all. Yeah. I don't know the ethic behind it because I don't know if they are what they're doing. I don't know if their information is gut. Right. Or that's never been proven. They've never been. So then for me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. They seem to have it right, so I'm going to participate in it.
Something's right over there.
Exactly.
Right? So if it's working, keep going.
Exactly.
I mean, whatever works. If any edge you can get, right now on investing, or if whatever you can do to get an up on that, absolutely. Jump in. Okay, yes, cool. Jump in. So
I didn't know, I'm sure you had heard of it, but I started seeing, because, it started I didn't do it as a joke, but I think a kid a couple years ago, he took like $100,000 and he started buying whatever politicians buy. I think he made $1 million in 12 months or something like that. Wow. So then other companies came in and they're like, well, let's just create third-party apps with power of attorneys and do the trades for people, and they they broker it. They get a percentage of the sale, good, and I'm like, okay, so I thought I'd try it for, like you said, fun money. I'm connecting it to the fun money. Exactly. It's like, to me, with my investments, there is fun. I kind of gave up crypto right now for a season. I had it. I have it. It just, To me, it's really volatile.
Yep.
And so I started leaning more into, obviously my retirement is what would it be called? Like safe stocks or whatever that would be, whatever language that would be, which is like, I got the S&P and all that stuff like that. And then you got because I get asked from guys all the time, they're like, Adam, how do you save and invest and all that stuff like that? And the question is always, because I know a friend who invested in, this marker that came out and he made blah, blah, blah. And so, I'm going to take the $10,000 that I have and I'm going to put it in something. And I'm like, and my first question is like, what does your retirement look like right now? What does your current I don't have any.
Oh my
I'm just trying to, and I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't just try to get an edge and make 50 grand and then be at like, you're going to spend it. We know it. You're going to put it on a car, put it on a house, whatever. Like what is getting you to 65? What's getting you to 70? What's getting you to an age potentially that you may just not have the energy for?
Right.
Or you hit an age and you want to really start living, with your spouse and you're like, oh, I don't have a plan for that. I'm just kind of thinking about getting, 20 grand right now.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Well,
Well, I'll tell you, and that's why money is designed to be in different buckets, right? So whenever we talk about money, it's designed to be short-term money, mid-term money, and long-term money. And a lot of times people confuse that. And the other part of that is whatever works for someone does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you, because money is a very customizable and customized, especially a plan. Having a plan to get to your goals is very customized, because you have 2 boys, I have 1 daughter, right? You're a pastor, I'm in business, right? Your taxes look different from mine.
Yeah.
The whole, even if we're both married, we're family people, but we have differences. Our goals, our aspirations, what you love Paris, I love the Caribbean, right? All those things, they're different. And so every plan, what works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for me.
Yeah.
And so what I try to tell people is, I know you love your uncle. I know you love your family members. I know you love your attorney. I know you love your CPA. But you got to talk to somebody who specializes in finances, because that person has licenses, experience, training, right? It's like I wouldn't go to a dentist for surgery on my body, right? So you got to talk to a pro. And that's one of the things that people miss. And the reason they miss it, and I'll just dispel this myth, is because the financial industry has done a very good job of letting people perceive that you have to have money to talk to a professional. And it's heartbreaking, because that's why people are afraid to talk to financial educators. Is because they go like, well, I have to have like 10 grand to go talk to this person. I have to have 50 grand this guy has buy-in. There's a minimum. Right? Which is not true if you find the right folks, right? And so you want to find somebody, number one, that doesn't charge you, right? Because there are people that won't charge you for advice. I don't know if you know that, right? A lot of people do, but they can. They have licenses to do that. But if you bet, it's best to find one that doesn't, okay? The second thing is, find one that's able to offer everything in the spectrum. So they can offer short-term accounts, they can offer mid-term accounts, they can offer long-term accounts. Because your short-term money, for example, when I met my wife, and I'll tell you this story, right? Most people don't know this. This is another thing you don't know about me. But I was so serious about marrying her, I bought the diamonds 3 months into us dating.
Wow.
And I put it in my safe. But the only reason I could do that, cash, is because I had a diamond fund. I had a ring fund.
That when you meet the right girl, you're ready.
I was ready.
Right?
And so I went on this website. I won't make an ad right now for them, but it's a very great place to buy diamonds. And I purchased the diamonds and I put it in my safety deposit box at the bank. Right? And I waited till a year to ask her parents for their permission for me to marry their daughter. And then I asked her 15 months in, right?
Wow.
But the diamonds were sitting there because I had the cash and I saw the deal and I could pull the trigger and get them in that moment. But it's because, so I tell people, set up an emergency fund, set up a fund. That way you could travel, Paris, the Caribbean. Then you set up your house fund. Then you set up your shopping fund. Everything that's important to you in that, like in those high yield savings areas, you could set up different buckets. And I have a story about my cousin. He had a lot of debt, maybe like $30-something thousand of debt for years. So he was scared to talk to me. This is my own cousin, okay? And I would talk to him. I'd say, cuz, man, just talk to me. Let's figure out where you are. And he had literally zero saved when I met him. And I gave him a plan. I said, it's called the X curve. as you pay off your debt, you put $10 aside. So your money increases while your debt decreases. And so he started doing that 4 years later, maybe 4.5 now. He has over $150,000 saved.
Wow.
He started with $10. But as he paid off his debt, he was able to add more money into that emergency fund bucket. Now he has a house fund, an emergency fund, a car fund, everything that he wants to do because he has a system to support him in getting to those things done.
Yeah.
Right now he'll have a wedding fund soon, right? Right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's the key is, yes, the play money is great. And a lot of folks in the next generation focus on the play money because that's what's on TikTok, that's what's on Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is. You're right.
Everybody's getting rich fast. And it's like, but when you look at comparison, it's such a small and you don't even know it's true nowadays, you know, because there's always an ad. That's why for me, like what we did, like I'm not going to share what I use or what I engage with because it's not an ad. I'm not saying, hey, this is what I do. It's working well for me. Go do it. And there's something attached. I'd be very transparent with that if that was. So
it's the principles.
Because so many people, and so many people nowadays, it's, hey, I did this.
Right.
And then they're like, and I did it through blank. And what you don't realize is you just believed in a dream to be another paying customer.
Exactly.
You know,
which
there's a lot of that on social media.
And that's why I'm not mentioning company names.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the concepts that will support you to your financial freedom.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a company.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So let's just say I'm going to ask one more question. I want to go, and then I want to tap into kind of like an exercise with you.
Yeah.
If
that's
you're
going to
down.
be fun.
Okay.
That's going to be fun. So, I'm excited.
Yeah. So obviously, what's your company name? You can share that. That's
How Money Works.
How Money Works is your company.
Yeah.
Okay.
.com.
HowMoneyWorks.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
so that's like the
financial education.
financial education arm and stuff like that. Let's just say someone's listening to us in New Hampshire or whatever, just thinking of random spaces of people. So I think what's most notable that maybe people don't know is most major banks help with financial, not education, but they can handle some of the savings and retirement and stuff like. But who would be some other like national companies that someone could? Like I don't even I do my stocks through Charles Schwab, but like does Charles Schwab do that kind of stuff? I know Chase does, but like what elements of that stuff, what other companies exist, you know, that would help with someone a next step? Obviously someone was localized. Well, anyone could reach out to, but really just also thinking more broadly, what are like some places people could go to?
Yeah, so I'm going to say something very controversial, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the banks in general for investing purposes are typically not your friends.
Okay.
Okay? When it comes to especially liquid accounts.
Yeah.
So, for example, you go to the bank, you open up a checking account, it's zero.
Yeah.
Right? They give 0% interest. You go open up savings, it's 0.0 something.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go into a money market, they may give you 2%-ish, right? But then beyond that, they kind of want you to lock your money up. So you go into a CD.
Yeah.
You have to leave it there for a certain amount of time.
Because they want to use it.
Yes.
They want to use your money.
Banks use your money.
Yeah.
And they can lend up to 10 times of what you have in your account.
Okay.
So if you have $5,000, they can lend $50,000 to somebody that wants to buy a car.
Yeah.
Against your $5,000.
Because they're showing the FDIC or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we could do that because I got this person.
Yes, deposit.
And
it's safe. It's locked up for a certain amount of time. So, but they'll say, hey, can I give you a credit card at like 30%?
Yeah.
Can I give you a car loan at maybe 5 to 8? Right. So the equation there is you want to find a company. Usually they're called investment companies that offer high yield savings. Right? Okay. Accounts. So banks versus investment companies. That's the takeaway there.
That's good.
And so investment companies will typically give you higher rates of return on those high yield savings accounts.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where you get them. So, I mean, I could name a lot of names, but, there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I prefer not. I mean, you said Schwab, so let's just use Schwab as an example. Yeah. But just call any company you're familiar with and say, do you have a high yield savings account? Yeah. And how much is it going to cost me?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Or do you have investment accounts? And what do they cost me?
Yeah.
And you ask those basic questions and you'll be safe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So here's this exercise. If you need time to think about it.
All right, let's do it.
If you need time to think about it, we can go.
All right.
I can have another question in the pocket.
Okay. All right.
But I think you'll do fine on this. Okay.
Yes.
Here's what I would like to know. Because I've never really heard it just succinctly in this way.
Yep.
I think a lot of times you talk about financial education, not you, but you just hear the conversation. It's let's just take a church setting, which I've heard financial education.
Yes.
It feels like very just like one season, you know, of a person's life. And so here's what I would want to do for a quick exercise, okay?
Yeah.
The ultimate goal is that someone gets to 65 years old
Yep.
and they're extremely comfortable.
Yes.
Okay? They can live out their dreams. They want to buy something, they could buy it. They want their house, you know, for the most part paid off.
Yep.
Wife, husband, they want to go on vacation, you know, you can live dreams. You're not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but you can live your dream. You can enjoy life.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can enjoy it sooner. You know,
Yes.
that'd be great,
Yes.
which is possible. But let's just say, okay, that's the goal. That's the end goal, right?
Yep.
Children got to college. You don't have any debt. The ideal, you're not a slave to money, essentially, right? What I would love for you to do for just a brief minute, it's not going to take a minute, it's going to take longer, but someone in their 20s, what do they do right now?
Oh, great.
Okay. Someone in their 30s, what do they do right now?
Yep.
Someone in their 40s, what do they do right now?
Yep.
Someone in their 50s, what do they do right now? Someone in their 60s.
Yeah.
Could you just take us through those 4 or 5 decades and say, I'm talking to my 20-year-old nephew, this is what I'm saying right now.
Yes.
Talking to my 30-year-old, because I believe that what you would say and do is different. It's dependent on the day that you can start.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's so,
it really is.
It's so independent.
Yeah.
And so, and I know we have that many brought up listeners. I know we have 14-year-olds that listen to Beyond the Letter. So hopefully give each kind of category right now, people listening, like just direct, you want to make it to the end.
Yes.
But also, should you leave sooner, you have put a foundation that it doesn't become a burden for anyone, and especially if you're married, you have gotten to a place that your family can still be a success without you. You know, and your legacy can live on. So what do you say? Start with someone in their 20s.
So good. That's a great question. And what you're talking about, the technical term for this is called your financial independence number. Okay? So let's just say, for ease of argument, that it takes about $10,000 a month in retirement to do what you said.
Okay.
Okay? Or if we can go half, 5,000. Okay? And the makeup
No,
of that,
I like 10,000.
You like 10,000
because I know
better.
people in that age, that you're going to need 10,000.
You're going to need 10 grand.
Yeah.
Especially
So you're 120,000 a year.
Absolutely.
Non-taxable?
No, non-taxable.
Okay.
Yeah, either way, it's good.
Okay.
Right? Let's just say they bring home 7,500, between 7,500 and 10,000 a month. Okay.
Fair. And keeping in mind, no debt.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't have car payment.
Exactly.
You know, you're probably on the tail end of your mortgage.
Yep.
So you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's important to know. Because someone would be like, 10 grand. It's like, and live. It's like, you got to remember, you have no debt.
Right.
You know, no credit cards.
Now, here's the other part of that is we have charts about this. And I have a chart with every single state in the United States and what it takes to retire in that state.
Okay.
Okay. So we have charts on that. But California, New York, Illinois, about $1 million.
Okay.
Okay, is what it takes. So the end result is that you have $1 million. That's your FIN number, financial independence number. That means if you have $1 million, it'll give you about $5,000 a month, to be honest. But you know,
in a high yielding
in retirement account.
In a retirement
account.
Okay.
Okay. So starting off with the 20-year-old, you need about $150 a month.
Okay.
Put $150 a month aside, and you can put it in. For example, you mentioned the S&P 500.
Yeah.
Put in the S&P, earning about 10% interest, 9 to 10. And you will get to $1 million or more in retirement.
$150 a month
in your 20s.
In your 20s.
In your 20s.
With no need to increase it.
Correct. No need to increase it for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
Just $150 a month.
150, less than far less than the average car payment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
$150 a month.
Yeah.
And you just kept that on auto for the rest of your life in a retirement account. And you say, I'm going to look at it when I'm 60 or 65.
Yeah.
You'll have enough money to do that.
Okay.
In your 30s, it goes up. It goes up to about $250 a month.
Okay.
$250 to $300 a month, right?
Yeah.
So it's called the time value of money. The longer you wait, the more you have to save.
Yeah.
Right? In your 40s, it goes up to like $500 a month. And I have a chart on this. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
So they can add it to the podcast if you'd like, or because those things are important for people to see.
Yeah, yeah.
Like here's a visual. They'll look at their state. They'll go, oh, my state is like 700,000. Great.
Yeah.
And then I'll show them the other chart that says based on their age, it goes 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 55, all the way up. It tells them exactly how much to save.
Wow.
So we have that. And so if you're in your 40s now, you got to save like $750 a month.
Yeah.
If you're in your 50s, it goes to like $1,500. Right?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So the longer you wait, the more you have to save. And that's why we want to, as many people as possible when they're younger.
Start young.
Yes. Start young. When was the best time to start saving? Yesterday. Right? You know what I mean? Like start, just hurry up.
Yeah.
Do it right now while we're on the podcast. Like send $10 to your savings account.
Yeah.
If that's all you know right now, send it there.
Yeah. And that's all you have.
And that's all you have. But the challenge with savings accounts, and that's why I don't tell people put that money to savings for, and instead of a high yield savings, is because you can easily access your savings. I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, so, you could tap into
it's
it
one
so
transfer,
easily.
right?
Yeah.
But if you send it to another company away from your bank,
you got to sell it and deal with the whole thing.
It takes a couple days to get to you.
Yeah.
By that time, you don't want those Jordans anymore. You don't want those jeans anymore.
Yeah.
You change your mind about buying that expensive item. Then it takes a couple days, a cool off period you have, right?
Yeah.
Before you access that money. And so that's what I want to encourage people. That's why I don't say put in a savings account at your bank.
Yeah.
Send it to an investment company's high yield savings. That way it's still connected to your bank, but at least you don't see it. You can't move it immediately.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so let's turn the heat up a little bit on it then.
Let's
okay?
go.
Let's see if you got some on this. Now, let's say somebody wants to finish in their 60s wealthy.
Yes.
Okay. And that's self-determined. I'll let each individual think to themselves what wealthy is. To me,
yes.
And I know not every aspect of this is predominantly your expertise, but overall it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm mentioning like real estate or whatever. But
it's easy.
But let's just say it's like, okay, an average person's ideal of wealth is I got my house plus 2 other homes.
Yep.
That's creating revenue for me.
Yes.
I got, I could gift those to my children, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
One of the great things my dad did, he had a secondary home.
Yeah.
When all of his sons reached certain ages in their 20s, he sold the home, downgraded to another home,
Wow.
and then he gave us each a portion.
That's legacy.
A small portion.
That's
He gave
beautiful.
us each $50,000. And he said, dude, this is in 2010.
Beautiful.
He said, you guys do whatever you want with it. I've taught you. Oldest was 25, I was 20, middle was 22.
Wow.
He said, I've done everything I can with you guys. You want to go, buy a car with it? It's stupid, but you do. Here's the money.
Yeah.
And we all bought houses.
Oh, that's
all
incredible.
of us.
What a gift. What a gift.
Which by time I'm 28, I'm buying the house that I want to buy because the house that I bought at 22 almost went over double how much it was worth. Sold it, was able to get to where. So I mean, I've experienced an incredible blessing. And overall speaking, I mean, 50,000 is a massive blessing, but it's not an exorbitant amount of money. Yeah. But I think to myself, how much I was able to early on start to provide for my family.
Yes.
Because really, when you look at it, I mean, it's $50,000 is less than it takes to get a college degree.
Yeah.
But that was enough for me to get my first house.
Absolutely.
And I did make some bad decisions. I got a house that was too big for me and the payment was too much. And it was because they let me qualify for it with those little first-time home buyer things. And no one explained to me
that education.
you could put 10 grand down, but your payment's going to be $3,700 a month.
Exactly.
No one explained that. They just said, oh, you didn't hit the balloon. Right? So let's just say, though, you say a person's idea of wealth, right? It's I have, we look at legacy, and hopefully we're a Christian audience, so hopefully a person's faith and their local church is somewhere part of their dream. But let's remove that, aside out of that.
Yes.
In the sense that whatever a person's idea of comfort and wealth, and hopefully a person, I say all of this with a thread of hopefully a person lives a generous life. Because I believe biblically, and I'm not just talking about tithing to your church, it's just generous life in general with your finances.
Yep.
Number one, I believe that's the greatest investment. That's the greatest ROI in general is being a generous person.
Absolutely.
So we'll say that. I know you agree with me on that because
100%.
You and I have had a million conversations around that.
Yes.
So let's put that aside, right? Because ultimate form of wealth to me is living a generous life. Not it being your God, you being able to help people and serve people. But then now let's look at a person's personal life, and they have personal aspirations, multiple homes, whatever idea of a car that they would want. For a person, it could be a Jeep.
Yes.
For another person, it could be a Mercedes S-Class.
Yep.
It's all independent, right? But let's just say it's material dreams, which biblically there's no sin around it as long as it doesn't own you, right?
Right.
So let's just say you look at financial, all that savings. I want to be able to retire.
Yep.
I want to be able to go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fly economy.
Right.
I want to be able to upgrade to first class
Absolutely.
in my 60s.
Yep.
I want to, like if I'm flying, I'm not flying uncomfortably in my 60s.
Yeah.
If I can, right?
Absolutely.
Let's attach that to wealth, right?
Yes.
Could you run that play again a little bit? What are you doing to, and maybe it's just, hey, increase your number, but let's just say, let's go deeper on that if you can.
So there's a formula.
Yeah.
Right? And the formula is very simple, right? I told you there's a system for everything. The formula is for every $1 million that you have saved, you get guaranteed. Let me retract that. I can't say the word guaranteed. You get approximately $5,000 a month of income.
Okay.
For every $1 million you have saved.
For those that understand, explain to them what's happening in the retirement account with that $1 million, because what they're going to be assuming is they're thinking they're pulling out of it.
Yes.
And they're thinking the actual what's in the saving is going down.
Yes.
People don't understand how that
Correct.
works. So educate on that.
Yeah, great question. So with the retirement is now long-term, and long-term means in the United States age 59 and a half plus. So once you get to 59 and a half, that gives you, you don't get to pay extra penalties on that money. You still get to pay taxes on most accounts, but you don't get to pay penalties. So in those long-term accounts, there are programs that you can put your money in. Some of those programs do have guarantees, not all of them. So that's why I put an asterisk there. And you could either have a program that guarantees you lifetime income, which means it operates like a pension. So that money, that bucket of money that you saved up, let's say you saved up $3 million or $2 million or whatever, you are guaranteed by a company to get monthly income from that for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is have one that sometimes that gives you a guide. They'll say, we'll give you about 5% from this money. So that means the money's going to grow at an average of about 10%, but you get 5% from that every year. Or they give you a dividend that pays you from that money. It's not depleting your savings that you saved up over the years.
Yeah.
Right? So there are a few different ways that you could do that. What you don't want to be doing, which is what I see most people do, is what you described, is that you're drawing down money from your principal every month.
Yeah.
That you worked 30 years to save up $2 million or $3 million, $500,000, whatever your number is.
And in 5 years.
And in 5 years, you're out of money.
Yeah.
Right? And I see that happen all the time when, again, financial education, there are programs where you do not have to draw down the money that you saved.
Yeah.
I just dealt with a case like this. Somebody called the office. They referred to me. They started off with $200,000. They'd worked for 30 years to do that. And then now they were down by $100,000 to $100,000 because of life circumstances. Life happens, right?
Yeah.
And the person called me and they go, hey, Lester, somebody referred me to you. Can we stop the bleeding? I said, yes, there are programs to stop the bleeding. And we could probably even grow up some money back as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the whole point of retirement assets is to pass that money on to your loved ones. It's called transferring your assets. And that's where a living trust comes in. Right? Transfer those assets to your loved ones so that you leave an inheritance to your children and their children's children, right? To their children as well. And that way you never run out of money, but your family benefits as well.
Yeah.
And people just don't know that those things exist.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
So jump now, the formula. Give me the formula, because I rabbit trailed you.
So a little bit, for every $1 million that you have saved, you have about $5,000 of income coming in on a monthly basis.
Okay. So you got $4 million saved.
Yep. That's $20,000 a month.
Okay.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So now you kind of know your FIN number.
Yeah. Work back your dream. Now start your dreams.
Yeah. That's a ballpark figure, right?
Yeah.
Approximately $20,000 a month is $4 million saved ish.
So someone in their 20s, they start at $600 a month. Mm-hmm. That'll get you to
$4 million.
To $4 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's only earning about 9 to 10% interest on that money per year. Not crazy.
Yeah.
But just consistent.
It's just consistent.
Yeah.
Over the next.
Yeah.
You're 20 over the next 40 years.
Yeah.
You're consistently putting in.
And then game time.
Yeah.
You're there. And you literally set it and forget it.
Yeah.
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 And you have check-ins annually. How's it doing?
Right.
You talk to a pro. They advise you. But that general formula, it's so simple. People make it so complicated, but it's not.
Yeah.
And when I show people how simple it is, and they go, wow, this is incredible. And it blows their mind because it's simplicity.
Yeah.
Simplicity.
I know so many people that carry, and when I use the word, I'm going to use the word wealth. I don't mean rich. I just mean their money. I know people that carry their wealth in their savings so regularly, over $100,000, $200,000 regularly in their savings.
Yeah.
Or even speak to this, like, let's just say a business person, what would be I know business people that carry, quite a bit of liquid money, and the liquid money is not being always used for operational expenses.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to, let's just say there's a business person that says, oh, well, like, I only pay me a certain amount a year because obviously I don't want to get taxed on everything.
Right.
And so, I have this business savings account, a business checking account that just, annually there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that sit in that. What would be your advice to maybe a business person with a business account? Is it different?
Well, there are a handful of companies right now that do offer business high yield savings.
Okay.
And those are also no charge. Right,
Yeah.
so you can absolutely tap into those those high yield savings for businesses, and same thing applies. You can get that money back in your account within 1 to 2 days, and because it's just a transfer from bank, institution to bank, and it's earning interest. So instead of earning nothing on that money or 0.0 nothing, then that money could be working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Must.
it's a must.
Best really.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think, going in, I think our last episode talking about the new year and frameworks, like, this is such an important framework, especially how you hear so many people, America's so expensive, economy, and those things are true.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things like, hey, there may be difficult aspects, everything like that. But when you're here, you can, America, the institution, may be responsible for some of our excess, but at the same time, you could look in a mirror.
Yeah.
And the luxury that even a 19-year-old is living in, latest iPhone or this or that. And you're saying, well, the institution may have this issue with the economy and all that, but we are benefactors of it. We are participating in that environment that if you just start to shift your mentality, you will start to, people, I'm in California, I'm 19, I can never afford a house. It's like, well, that's not totally true.
Yeah.
You may not be able to get a house by 23 like someone in somewhere else, but they also might make less.
Yes.
But it's like, but also you can attain it. Just
Absolutely.
how much are you willing to sacrifice for it?
Absolutely. Well, and I'll tell you, Pastor Adam, the thing that I found to work the best over the years of so many families that we've helped, individuals, is forced savings is the best savings. So
Automate it.
Start with $10. If that's all you can afford, put $10 on automatic, right? Send that to your high yield savings. And then you know what you do? You bump it up. Every time you get a raise, you bump it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Every time, let's say you change jobs and you could add more money, bump it up. And before you know it, your capacity is going to get stretched.
Yeah.
So that's what me and Kirsten do all the time is we have automatic savings come out of our accounts. And then plus she saves additional 10% from everything that we get, right? So we tithe 10%, we save 10% immediately, automatically, every single paycheck. So it's not like it's a theory for us. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you look up, like the other day, you probably know or don't know this. We were not even thinking about buying a house. One day Kirsten comes and says to me, hey, Lester, I found 5 houses. And we were always looking in Rancho. Yeah. And we never really looked at cities around us, but it was a city around us. So he said, let's go look at these houses. The 5th house we went to see was exactly what we wanted in our dream home. And we were looking in Rancho for a long time for that house.
You and I have been talking about that for over 5 years.
A long time, right? I mean, we looked at probably, no exaggeration, over 100 houses on our own time.
And you would send me Zillows at times. Hey, what do you think about this? Blah, blah, blah.
On our own time.
Talked about that.
On our own time. We just go on the weekends and look, and we walked into this home. And we go, oh my gosh, this is everything we want. Yeah. It has enough space to entertain like 75 people in the backyard. It has a pool, spa, grassy area, fruit trees, paid off solar, 3-car garage, single story, X amount of bedrooms. And it's everything we wanted. And we said, all right, let's put in the offer. It wasn't even a question of, do we have the 20% down? Yeah. Because it was automated savings. Yeah. Right? And by the way,
ready for it.
We were ready.
Yeah.
And it's not because I was ready 5 years ago, but I put this, we weren't ready for Rancho prices 5 years ago. Definitely not, right?
Yeah.
But we put the money aside and we said, whenever it comes, we'll be ready.
Yeah.
And the Lord just lined it up.
Yeah.
And it's everything we wanted. And we're so grateful.
Yeah.
Because we were prepared.
Yeah, you
Right?
you did everything you could do, so God can do everything He wants to do.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
but there's so many times that
Exactly.
people are hoping for a financial miracle,
Yep.
and yet they've done nothing
Yes.
to add to that.
Yes.
And so for you guys, you have these prayers, these dreams that you know only the Lord can bring you to.
Yeah.
But what would happen if He brought you to the dream house and you said, well, we didn't do anything to
Yeah.
prepare for this. We only have 10%.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have 20.
Yep.
And then we go, okay, we let that dream slip through our fingers
Yep.
because of just maybe a lack of discipline or
Yeah.
whatever else it
Yeah.
may be. And get you guys prepared for the Lord. As we
Yes.
land the plane, help
Yeah.
us with one more thing because
Yeah.
we didn't tap on it. We'll spend the last 5 minutes hitting this. Somebody wants to start today. They want to get rid of the credit cards.
Yes.
They want to pay down student loan debt. They want to get to a place where they can add more to their savings.
Yes.
But this slave, you know, this thing that they're chained to called debt
Yes.
is on them. What are some tips that you have for them to get ready to pay that off? I know you have probably the website of yours we shared. Probably there's education to it.
Yes.
But just give us some tips on that.
Oh yeah, this is great. So the first thing is, and we've been in that situation. We've been in situations where we had over 150,000 of debt. So the first thing is you gotta like this. I love this analogy. You know how they turn some cities turn former landfills into beautiful neighborhoods.
Yes.
The first thing you've got to do is stop bringing in the trash, right? So the analogy here is you got to cut up the credit cards. You can't keep spending on them.
Yeah.
Right? You got to stop the source of debt. So you cut up the credit cards, you start the emergency fund, high yield savings, $10, whatever you can, whenever you can. And then you put them in order of smallest to largest. Some people call it the debt stacking method. Some people call it the snowball method. So what Kirsten and I did is we pulled up one of those whiteboard sheets and we put it on the wall and we wrote all of our debt down, one through whatever it was. We said, this is the smallest, this is the largest. And we just wrote them all down. We said, all right, this is a big bite, but we're going to take baby steps at a time. So we said, we're going to pay off the minimums on everything else except the smallest one. And we're going to knock that one off.
Yeah.
And every time we knocked it off, we celebrated. We did something together. Whether we got boba, right? Whether we had a nice dinner, we said, great job on paying this one off. Boom, right? We paid it off.
Yeah.
And then we went to the next one and to the next one. So the first thing you got to do, stop the cards, start an emergency fund, high yield savings, and then put that list down and start attacking that. And
I'm sure it goes without saying, speaking of landfill and waste, you also stop the purchasing of exorbitant purchasing.
Yes, that's why you cut up the cards because you can't use them anymore.
Yeah.
Right? We had to do that as well.
Yeah.
Right? I think when we did it, we had like 10 or 11 cards that we literally shredded, cut up, right? Because we're like, we're not doing this anymore. We're done. Right? I was so sick and tired, right, of being in debt, you know? And so we did that and step by step. And then the other thing we did is we did everything we could to make more money. Because then we could pay it off faster. Yeah. Right? Because you may be saying in your situation, well, Lester, I don't have enough money to pay off my credit cards right now. Well, work overtime. Well, why don't you get a second job? Yeah. Right? Whatever it takes. If you're really serious about getting out of that debt, you got to like put it all on the line and give it your very best and burn the candle at both ends for a while you really attack that, right? Yeah. The second thing somebody might say is, Lester, I don't have enough. How am I going to get to $1 million of savings? Right? For them, it may be impossible. Well, if you shoot for $1 million and you land on $500,000 or $250,000, it's better than the average in America.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? The average person has somewhere between $125 and $150 for retirement right now.
Wow.
The average person.
Wow.
So if you apply any of the principles we talked about, you're going to be better off than the average person right now.
Yeah, if you shoot for the moon and you're with the stars, what are you complaining about?
Exactly. Don't cry to me. Let's go. I'm still celebrating with you,
exactly.
you know? And then the next thing is I wanted to give this website, investor.gov, investor.gov, is where somebody can actually put in their age, the amount they make, and how much they want to be at, so that they know exactly how much they have to save right now.
That's great.
It's a government website. Yeah. Right? Investor.gov. So go on that website, check it out. And so as you make money, as you're working on all these things behind the scenes, keep it simple. Focus on those debts, pay them off one by one. Every time you pay off one, let's just say the first payment was $100. The next payment minimum is $100. You're adding that up. So you're now paying $200 on the next debt. Yeah. Just look up the snowball method or the debt stacking method.
Yeah, so you maintain, you get rid of that payment for that first card, And whatever that payment was, you don't say, "Oh, we have $150 free dollars to
spend
monthly
on
to spend on
dinners,
shoes. I'm gonna
whatever.
put that on shoes."
Yeah.
And it's no, you go, okay, well now we got $400 to put towards
slam on the next card.
To slam on the next. Yeah,
That's right.
Very smart.
And you just keep rolling that into the next cards.
Yeah.
So that way your minimum now adds to the previous payment.
And you're chomping on.
And you're chomping off the debt quicker.
Yeah.
And that's what allows you to get out of debt quicker.
Yeah.
And you use that principle and you'll be free before you know it.
Yeah.
And add more income.
I remember, and that's perfect because I remember I was talking to this guy who had a beautiful home, and he said he had paid it off in 15 years, and I said, "Oh, what, you got a 15-year mortgage on it?" He said, "No, I had a 30-year mortgage on it," and he goes, and the payment on it was, whatever it was, $4,000 a month, and he said, he said for 15 years I paid $4,700 a month. I paid $700 extra, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he said, and that $700 a month went to principal.
Exactly.
It was no interest.
Exactly.
And so he's like, so it went from whatever the number was, right? It's not, I'm not sharing the perfect number, but he's like, and so literally he was in his late or early 50s with no mortgage from something he had gotten in his mid 30s.
Yes.
And your mortgage and your car payments for the most part are going to be your biggest payments.
Yep.
If you can eat those off,
absolutely,
you're living.
Yes. Yes. And that's the key. You got to set some targets, set some goals, put the buckets in front of you and say, okay, how much do I want to have by the end of 2026? I know I'm going to pay off this debt, and how much am I going to have in my high yield savings emergency fund?
Yeah.
How much am I going to have for my kids' college? How much am I going to have for my retirement? And I don't care if you set $10 in all three of those buckets, but just set it and force it automatic savings every month.
That's great.
You'll get there.
And don't put it under your bed.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, you got to make it earn some interest, right? And that's part of the education. We'll give out all
some
the
people
books.
Be like, you got grandma back in the day that's like, I don't trust banks because of the 1920 Great Depression and all that.
I'm with you. Gone are those days. Gone are those days.
Yeah. Well, hey, I enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
After a long day in seminary, this was a great conversation to have because we didn't go into theology. We went into practice of Christian living, which I'm awake now.
Hey.
And hopefully people are ready to conquer their goals.
Yeah.
And if Lester shared something that maybe you didn't understand, feel free. He's super active on social media.
Yeah.
Obviously, he shared his website, which was
howmoneyworks.com.
howmoneyworks.com.
Yep.
But Lester's super active, so if you got a question or something like that, feel free to reach out. But he's been my sage in a lot of these areas. He's my dad's sage in that area. So I'll really helped us in questions we've had. That have allowed us to shoot for goals that we have in our own life for our family. So thank you.
Great job on being a great example, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
And I love what you said because the finances are volatile.
Yeah.
And it's an adjustment, right? It's a journey. It's not just it's going to be beautiful. There are ups and downs along the way. And all you have to do is keep trying. Yeah. One more step, one more day.
Yeah. And we love to spend it when it's things that we enjoy.
Oh, please do.
But we get nervous every time it gets talked about.
Yes.
And that shows the juxtaposition on how much of a weight and how much of a God money is because we love it when we love it, and we hate it when we hate it.
Yeah.
And we get anxious when we feel tied to it.
Yeah.
And so that ought to serve people. There's almost nothing else that causes so much joy, so much anxiety, so much happiness, and so much fear.
Yep.
You get this little thing called seed, money, and it could give you the biggest smile on your face, but it can also be a destruction in so many different ways. And so it needs to be talked about a lot more. And, and hopefully this isn't what it is, but I do have dreams one day. We have so much going on. So it's a one day. And I know you know this.
Yes.
That one day I want to do a Beyond Wealth podcast. Maybe it's not weekly.
Yeah.
But I think these conversations are important.
Absolutely.
And I think talking to experts in all areas, talking to people that real estate, giving options to people. Options to people of opportunities to reach a person's dreams. And to me, the biggest thing is to live a generous life and to leave a legacy to your family, to reset the cycle for a lot of people of poverty.
Yes.
And my family, my dad's family, they came from poverty.
Yep.
And I saw through my family, my grandpa, my uncle, and others, entrepreneurship, ownership of certain things is a great opportunity to step in. But also, let's just say you're not an entrepreneur mindset because it takes a specific mindset.
Yep.
You can work a very common job with a very common salary.
Yes.
And if you discipline yourself well, you can live a wealthy life.
Yes, you can.
Later on.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I meet people all the time when I'm like on vacation or on a cruise and they're in their 60s or 70s and they're living, right?
yeah.
They look, you know, they got beautiful watch. They're comfortable. They're like, oh, it's our 5th cruise. And,
Yep.
and you just think, oh man, this guy's breaded. And
Yeah.
and then I ask him, man, what did you do for a living? He's like, oh, I was a plumber.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what do you mean you were a plumber?
Consistent.
Like, no,
Consistent.
I saved.
Yeah.
I had a 401k and
Yep.
I added to it every
Yep.
year. And
Yep.
I was at a company that had a matching
Yes.
fund.
Yes.
And so many people don't participate in that.
Yeah.
They want that quick, you know, and,
Oh,
and so I'll meet these people that you feel like, oh, what was the business that you owned? Or what were you a C-suite executive? And,
Yep.
and it's a very humble career. But they're living now. Because
Absolutely.
they were disciplined.
Yeah.
And then you meet someone else that's in their 60s and 70s.
Yep.
And they're still working and they're
Yes.
tired
Yes.
and they're unhappy because they just feel like I just want to rest.
Yeah.
And they can't. Because and there could be a million reasons. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say it's because they
Life.
weren't good at saving.
Life,
but
yeah.
it's and I see that. I see that
Yeah.
juxtaposition. So I think conversations like this are important.
And I'll end with this encouragement.
Yeah.
If you didn't come from a wealthy family,
Yeah.
a wealthy family can come from you.
That's good. Yeah. That's great. You can start.
You can start.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
I'm
so
honored.
Fun conversation.
Thank you for having me.
So, man, everybody, appreciate you all joining us today. I hope this conversation was great for
Yeah.
you.
I hope so too.
And whatever nuggets you got from it, feel free to share in the comments and other things. Share this episode with someone. Whatever season you know, if you know someone that's got financial dreams, I think this conversation, there's a lot of rich, deep things, but this is about as introductory to which is really what I wanted.
Yes.
Is, hey, let's talk to the people that we have a subtle voice in the back of our head, like you said, that says this is only for wealthy people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
having dreams to the end of your life to own a home, have a great retirement, that's only for people that had one up
Yeah.
on life.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. And
Yeah.
you can reset that. And so I think this conversation was perfect for that.
Yeah, we busted that myth today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. All right, y'all. Have
Pleasure.
a great week.
Bye, everybody.